Folks, thanks for joining us for another On the Limb podcast segment of Whitetail Weekly with Caleb Currents and Luke Humphreys. Take it away, guys.
Hey, Mike, tree stand placement is super important, especially whenever you're talking mature whitetails. So we'll dive into it right here on our third episode, or third segment of our Whitetail Weekly. Right here we have a really nice tree that I prefer, one that the stand's actually going to go in. We have a mock scrape behind you, and then this is just a low gap between two high points, two nice food sources, and obviously in here it's super thick, super nasty, but there's a lot of deer trails coming out along with this four-wheeler trail. This is on private property. But let's talk about this tree and why this tree. So Skylar, if you'll move over here so the viewers can see. So this tree right here, there is some daylight behind it, but in the back we have a few locust trees that kind of break up the outline, but we have a shoot off on the left that's at about 18 foot high, and then we have a shoot off kind of coming up to the right that's at about 19 foot high. So ideally what I'm looking for is I'm looking to put the tree stand facing directly at us, right? And what that's going to do is that's going to break up my silhouette. Typically with the thermals and everything being that high, with the wind coming from this direction out of the northwest, it's going to push my scent off into here. So I do want to try and get up a little higher to keep my thermals up above it. That's something that a lot of people overlook. So do some research with thermals and how they work in each direction and in each spot. When you're hunting hill country in Ohio, or you're hunting Appalachian, whitetails in the mountains, bowls, low gaps, swags, all that stuff has weird wind swirls. So pay attention to that, right? Get out there, check the wind a few times every time you're running your trail cameras in the summer. See kind of how that works. See how the thermals react. Right, take that into consideration and pick out a few trees. So right here, we've got the shoot offs, right? Tons of leaves behind us, a little bit of daylight, not that big a deal. I'm thinking late season, right? Come November, there's probably not going to be any leaves on that tree. So what I'm thinking about is what's going to break me up. I've got the two main shoot offs. I've got a couple more limbs behind me, but I have that trunk, right? I don't want to get on the side of that and perch myself on the side to where I am against the skylight. So that's definitely a no-go. And you have to think about it from where the deer is going to be. I hope to be shooting at a deer in this mock scrape come November, but that might not be the case. All right, so a buck might be popping out of this low gap here, right? Right there, I would still have enough cover, right? That bigger tree trunk is gonna help hide me. And then obviously if you're in a saddle, the cool thing about saddle hunting is you keep the tree trunk between you and the animal until you're ready to shoot. So think about that. I have some sets that are better for a saddle. I have some that are better for a tree stand, all-day sets. I very rarely do all-day sets, but that can be another topic. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking for. Something with a lot of break-offs, or a lot of splits, some cover behind it, and then if there's not a lot of cover behind it, is the trunk itself big enough to break me up? And lastly, don't forget your thermals. It does no good to have a super awesome tree if a buck wins you from 100 yards. Right? So think about that. Typically if it's a morning set and you don't know anything about thermals, scent goes up in the morning whenever the sun rises, right? They still drop in the morning until the sun comes up over the crest of the hill. Once that sunlight starts lighting up your hillside, your thermals will automatically switch and start going straight up the hillside. So here, if the sun's hitting me, it's just going to go up into the ether, right? It's a great morning set right here. Evening, I have to be a little bit more careful and anticipating where those deer are coming from. This tree should be just fine, but if I was, say, in a tree over here, that would be a no-go, right? Because the deer are going to be crossing, or if a deer comes from that side, they're going to be directly downwind. I'm at least on this side of this shelf to where my thermals will drop off way down into the bottom, hopefully before any deer wins me. So yeah, well, thank you guys so much. I hope that answered kind of the topic. Mike, I appreciate you very much, and good luck this season, everyone. Make sure you tune in and get prepared for segment 4. It's going to be a good one.
This episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Will Jewelry and Loan. When you need cash and you need it fast, check out Will Jewelry and Loan. Come on in with your jewelry, firearms, electronics, tools, lawn equipment, dirt bikes, side-by-sides, and even four-wheelers. They will beat any competitor's loan amount, and that's a fact. Will Jewelry and Loan guarantees faster and more cash for your loan than any other company in the area. They have your cash you need fast. Check them out today on their Facebook page or give them a call at 304-768-5101. Stop in and talk with them at 5523 McCorkle Avenue Southwest, South Charleston, West Virginia. Will Jewelry and Loan, 304-768-5101.